prosecutors told a federal jury in New Haven that a local man has confessed to setting a fire in the Elm City 2 years ago that left 3 people dead.
That same prosecutor says Hector Natal torched the place to settle a drug deal that had nothing to do with the victims. Natal and his father both face charges in the case. News 8's Allie Reed has more from outside the courthouse. Allie?
Good evening, guys. The victims come from a very large family, and many of those family members showed up to court today 2 years later. While they say they're here to find the truth, it's also going to be a very challenging time for them because with each day of this trial, they're going to have to relive what happened that morning 2 years ago. First, the family had to listen to the 911 calls, the many 911 calls placed that morning. Very emotional. You could hear the hysteria, the people screaming for help, reports of people throwing children off balconies to safety on the ground. Then they heard from firefighters who were there that day who talked about coming across the 3 bodies, and that was very emotional for the firefighters and the family members, many times overcome with emotion and had to walk out of the court. 42-year-old Wanda Roberson, her 8-year-old son Quayshawn, and her 21-year-old niece Jaquita were killed in the early morning fire on March 9, 2011. They died in their 3rd-floor apartment at a multifamily house in Fairhaven. Fire investigators say the fire was intentionally set. 26-year-old Hector Natal and his 50-year-old father Hector Morales are now on charges related to arson. Today, the jurors heard recordings of the many 911 calls that were placed that morning. Family members, visibly upset, held one another as they listened to the screams for help. 3 New Haven firefighters testified about their experiences that day. One commented on how, quote, it was pure chaos in the fire unlike one he'd ever seen. Another firefighter fought back tears as he recalled coming across the 3 bodies inside the apartment. 2 family members had to walk out of the courtroom during his testimony because they were too upset. We talked to Loretta Parker, who is the aunt and great aunt of the victims.
We're just trying to get through this because it's going to be rough. You know, it's going to take 2 to 3 weeks, and it's going to be very hard.
The last to testify today was Wanda's 20-year-old niece, Jasmine Roberson. She told jurors she was one of 10 family members who lived in the building at the time of the fire. She says she threw her then 1-year-old son to safety. She and many others were able to escape the fire thanks to Wanda, who woke them all up to alert them to the fire. But while many got out, Wanda was found dead with her niece and son on the 3rd floor. Jasmine also said today in court that some of her family members had 2 fights with Natal before the fire was set. Her testimony continues tomorrow. We'll also be hearing from other family members and other witnesses there that day. Now, Jasmine and other family members showed up today in court wearing T-shirts. On the front of those T-shirts were the faces of the 3 victims. Now, the attorneys for both Natal and Morales have asked the judge not to allow those T-shirts or pins or anything with the victims' faces on it to be allowed in the courtroom. They're going to be taking up that issue tomorrow morning. Reporting live in New Haven, Allie Reed, News 8.